Hey guys, it's Kaitlin. Welcome back to another journaling video and Happy New Year! Welcome to the first video of 2024. So today's video is one that I kind of decided to do last minute, but I thought you might enjoy, and it was inspired by some recent events that went on in my life. So just yesterday I got back from my trip over Christmas with my family to Spain. We had a really wonderful time and it was a great trip, but on the trip I packed different journaling supplies and notebooks and things of that nature so that I could journal on the trip and also collect all of the ephemera and tickets and photos and all that good stuff. So in today's video, I thought it would be cool to show you my travel journal kit, kind of everything I brought with me in terms of journaling supplies, and also just like the kind of storage items that I brought to store the ephemera from the trip. And I have all of the stuff right here with me, so I'm actually going to be showing you how it looks now that I've returned to Canada, and I haven't unpacked anything, so it is like, this is how it looks now, and this is how everything fit together on the trip. And yeah, I'll just kind of show you my kit and what's in there. So for this trip, we were gone for 10 days, so it was a bit of a longer trip. It was overseas, so from Canada to Spain, and I knew I would be collecting a lot of ephemera, so I wanted to make sure I had lots of room to do that while also being conscious of space and, you know, not taking up my entire carry-on backpack with my stationery stuff. So for the overall case that I kept everything in, I chose to bring my medium delfonics pouch. This is the utility pouch by them, and this is the medium size, so it is about the size of an A5 notebook. It can actually fit an A5 notebook inside. And if I turn it this way, you can see this thing is like stuffed to the brim. There's a lot of stuff in here, especially now that I've kind of put all of the ephemera in here to travel back home with it. So it wasn't this chunky when I left, but I felt like having everything in here to show you would give you a better idea of how everything fit together and was stored once I started collecting the tickets and all of that stuff. But this pouch is what I brought with me to hold the stationery as well as all of the things I collected on the trip. I also carried some keepsakes in here that I purchased while I was traveling, which you'll see as well. And overall, this pouch held up quite well. The only thing I will say is I didn't really utilize the pockets on the outside very much. I did use one pocket in the back here, this pocket that has a Velcro closure, which I'll just open now for you. And I actually used that to store all of the bookmarks that I collected on the trip, as well as the bookmarks other members of my family collected. Once they saw my ephemera collection system and how it allowed things to stay flat and not get damaged, they jumped on the bandwagon and they actually asked me to store a couple of their things in here as well. So these aren't all mine, but they are mostly mine. And yeah, I kept the bookmarks for myself as well as the ones that my family purchased in the back pocket here, just so that they could be flat and you know, stay relatively in good shape. So that was the only thing that I actually kept in the back pocket. The rest of the pockets I actually didn't really use, and that was just because I didn't want anything falling out of the case while I was traveling. So all of the stuff that I brought and stored did mostly stay inside of this main pocket. So I'll just open it up now and show you. So I'm just gonna kind of peel back this insert, or open it so you can kind of see how it looks right now, and then I'll take everything out one by one. But I pretty much in here have a bunch of stuff. I have a couple things in this main kind of giant pocket that is the full size of the the case. There are 4 pockets inside as well that are sewn into the organizer, and I did use all 4 for different things, so I'll go through those as well. But let me first start with the 3 items that I kept in the kind of main part of the pouch. And I'll actually start with this one, because this is actually the most important part of the system. So this right here is a spiral window notebook by Traveler's Company. It is B6 size, and it's called window because the pages of the book are not pages. They're actually these window envelopes that look like this. And this was by far the most useful thing on my trip. It's also the chunkiest, because what I did with this was I used this to collect all of the ephemera for my trip, save the bookmarks because they were too big to fit in here. So with this notebook, what I did was I had 1 window or 1 page per day. And what I would do is I would collect all the ephemera throughout the day. I would, stuff it into my jacket pocket, into my belt bag, all that stuff. And then at the end of the day, I would take all of it out and I would put it in one of these window folders. And I did that for every day of the trip. And what I liked about this was it kept everything flat and protected, but also it organized my ephemera for me. So now, looking back on the trip, I know what ephemera goes with each day, which is helpful because I then can coordinate and put things on certain pages of my journal that are about certain days for the trip. So you can see that here. And this notebook isn't actually very, very thick normally, but it did chunk up quite a bit with all of the tickets and stuff that I put in here. But yeah, this was what I used to actually store the ephemera. It worked really well. I'm so glad I had this to keep all my stuff safe. And this was the first thing in the main compartment. Now, the second thing in the main compartment is this folder. This is a folder by Traveler's Company as well. And I have in here a notebook, just a refill. I brought this, I usually keep this in my standard Traveler's notebook, but I brought it just in case I needed to use it or wanted to use it. I didn't end up using it, but I did keep it in here. And in this, I actually did use this in addition to this spiral pocketbook to hold things like my plane tickets, which you can see on the left here. I also used it to store a couple other larger pieces of ephemera, like this postcard, as well as this map, which was quite large. And this also sat inside the middle compartment with my spiral notebook. So between these two, these kind of kept all of the tickets, brochures, all of the stuff I collected safe and flat and secure, which was great. So these guys held most of that stuff. And then the final thing that I kept in here was this clear pouch. This is from Muji. And in here, I have my journaling supplies. So the things that I was writing with, which you can see here. And I have my bullet journal. And then I also put in here, because I didn't want to lose it, a coin that I got from one of the houses that we visited in Barcelona. So I collected this coin. I didn't want to lose it in the bag, so I just put it in this zip pouch to make sure it was safe. But this was intended to really just hold my journaling supplies. So in here I have just a couple things. I brought my clear ruler, which I use for everything. I brought my pencil. This is the brass pencil by Traveler's Company. I really like it because it's small and it just looks like this when it's pulled out. And then I brought my pen. This is a Uniball 1F, and it has a Sarasa gel refill in the color brown gray, which you can see right here. I also brought an extra refill just in case my pen exploded on the plane. I thought it would be helpful to have one just in case, or if the refill went a little weird while I was on the trip and needed a new one. So I did bring an extra just in case I needed it. And then I have my bullet journal. So what I brought this for was to use as a bullet journal, as I normally do, but what I like to do when traveling, especially with my bullet journal, is I will use the daily logs in the bullet journal to rapid log about the day and just kind of have a very quick overview of the things that I did. And why I like to do this is when I'm traveling, especially when I'm traveling with family, oftentimes my time is not my own. So I don't know about you, but when I travel, I have a lot of things going on. We are literally like going to all these places, visiting all these things, and then it's 5 or 6 o'clock. We come back to the hotel room, shower, get ready, go for dinner, come back, and then by then it's like 11 o'clock and we go to sleep and start the day again. So when I say there isn't a lot of time to journal, I mean that quite literally. And I have a poor memory, so for me, the key thing that I always try to do that takes me like 5 minutes so I can do it any day, no problem, is I will rapid log the things that I did on that day so that when I come back to journal about the day in my passport bullet journal, which looks like this is my daily journal, I have this to reference so that I can kind of trigger my memory and remember what happened on that day, and then I can write about it with that as reference. So yeah, this was really helpful. I also just used it as like a regular bullet journal, so I have like all my spreads in here, but I used it how I normally would, just with that kind of additional travel focused element to it. Okay, so that was the main part of the compartment. I think I just have a couple other ephemera bits that I collected on my trip in the side there, but the rest of the compartment is empty, and now we're gonna go into the 4 pockets in here. So in one of the pockets, I have one of the things that I got from the Picasso Museum, which is in Barcelona. This is a pill organizer, but I think I'm gonna use this to store some of my dividers and clips for my notebooks. In this pocket here, I have some tickets, I think, train tickets. And then I have what is this? I have a magnet, and I also have this calendar that I got. In this pocket, I have my grid traveler's notebook. This is in the packaging because I started this notebook while I was away, but if I take it out for you, you'll see that I did start writing in the notebook on the trip when I had some more time. So this has been starting to get filled out, but I did keep it in this plastic sleeve just for traveling so that it would be a little easier. And then I also have this here. This is something that I picked up at a stationery shop in Madrid that was a Travelers Company partner shop, which was really cool. I hadn't been able to get this folder because it was sold out at my local stationery stores, but they actually had it. So I picked this up. This is from the 2024 Travelers Town release. It's just a little folder that you can use in your passport traveler's notebook. So that was all 3 pockets here, and then the final pocket I have is kind of an exciting one. I don't think I've told you about this yet, but this is my latest traveler's notebook. So I'll start with what I have on the outside. This is a case. I believe it's called a organizer, by Travelers Company in collaboration with To and Fro, which is, you can see their branding here. This is made out of a very light raincoat material, so I kept my traveler's notebook in this when I was traveling just so I could keep it just a little more protected, have that extra layer of protection, just so that I was fully confident it was all good and protected and ready to go on my trip. And if I open it, you will see that I do have a new traveler's notebook. This is the Narita Airport Have a Nice Trip traveler's notebook, which I received and purchased from a third-party reseller. And they very kindly included this Japanese coin, which I have on the outside here, which I really, really like. I'll turn up the lighting a bit so you can see it. There we go. I purchased this because I'm using 3 traveler's notebooks this year, so I needed another one to hold my bullet journal. And because I hadn't set up my bullet journal yet, because I was planning to set it up after I got back from my trip, I decided to take this with me as my travel journal. So I'll show you the setup of this book, but I will just say I really, really like it. The black leather is very different than the like camel leather, which you can see here. The camel is a lot more, I don't know, this is very smooth compared to this, and it also, I found, just handled wear and movement very well. This doesn't really show scratches or stains in use as easily as the camel does. So for traveling, I really liked that. But in here, I have a couple things. I have a clear zip folder. The front here just has a decorative card, but what I used the back for on my trip was, and I don't have them in here anymore because I took them out for this video, but I actually kept my credit card and ID in this zip pocket here so that I could keep them relatively safe. I have a craft folder here just to collect things while I was on the go. And then what I did was, let me see if I can show you this. So I have this extra elastic here because what I did was I used this as a band so that I could put 2 inserts into the notebook without needing to buy a jump band, because I actually didn't have one with me and I didn't have time to buy one before my trip. So in case you're new to Traveler's Notebook, fun hack, when you buy a Traveler's Notebook, it comes with 2 bands. It comes with the band on the notebook, and then there's another band that closes the container, the packaging, that you can actually remove and use as a jump band or a band to feed through 2 notebooks and then feed them under the main band of the Traveler's Notebook so that you can keep more than 1 notebook in the cover. So that's what I did. So on the first part of my jump band, I have the folder. Inside the folder, I have this blank notebook from Traveler's Company. And I use this to collect stamps. I only got stamps from a partner shop that I visited. This is the one of the 2 partner shops in Spain. This is the Madrid El Moderno partner shop. And they were very kind and let me use their stamps multiple times. So I just did a couple stamps in here so I could have them. And then the other insert that I have is the sticker paper release insert. And I didn't collect too many stickers on my trip, but I did use this to house the 2 stickers that I did collect. And this was a really great travel journal. I really liked using this and the setup that I had for collecting things, but I will now be taking this apart and resetting it up for the new year as my bullet journal. So you will see the insides change, but I wanted to show you how I had it kind of configured for the trip before I changed everything around. And that was everything that I kept in my bag, and that was actually the full kit, my full travel kit, as well as all the ephemera that I collected on my trip. I will be taking the ephemera from these pockets and putting them into an official travel journal, as well as putting them into my daily journal when I do archive it, because that's how I like to go about these notebooks. I write in them, and then once I'm finished the entire notebook, that's when I like to put the ephemera in, so that it's not hard to write in them. But when I do create my travel journal, I will share it with you. I'll probably do a flip through of that, and I'll show you, of course, the finished journal when that is done as well. But yeah, that is the video. That is my kind of travel journal kit for journaling on the go, and what I brought with me and collected on a 10-day international trip. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope maybe there was something helpful in here that you can take on your own travels if you are going anywhere. And besides that, Happy New Year again. Happy New Year to you all. I hope your year has been good so far and you have a good start to your year. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye, everybody.